Let's talk Tanya for the 11th of Nisan of a leap year. Today, the 11th of Nisan, is the Rebbe's birthday. And the Tanya we're going to learn today, interestingly, most of it is one of the 12 psukim. In the late 1970s, the Rebbe chose 12 various verses and also different statements from our sages. And the Rebbe said that these are foundational ideas. And the Rebbe asked that everyone, especially children, should learn these, understand these, and they should be part of our way of thinking. And today's Tanya, V'hinei Hashem Nitzav Alav, is one of these 12 pieces which the Rebbe deemed very important enough to include in this series of 12 fundamental ideas that every Jewish person has to know. In yesterday's Tanya, we spoke about the idea that Yira is very important. Yira, this awe and reverence that we feel for God, is very important. We still don't know why. We'll talk about that in a few days from now, the why, but right now we're talking about the what. It is important to have Yira. And even if you're very excited and passionate about doing a mitzvah, nevertheless, before doing a mitzvah, you need to stop and you need to enter a Yira space. A mitzvah always has to be done from a space of Yira, a space of awe and reverence, in addition to the love. And how do we get there? What should I do while I pause? So in today's Tanya, and actually let's read this inside. It's a short piece. The Alter Rebbe gives us a meditation, what to contemplate in order to facilitate our entering a Yira space. A person should think, V'hinei Hashem nitzav alav. God is standing upon you, above you. U'melech ala aretz kavodei. And although God's glory fills the entire world, but umabit alav, God is looking at you. U'boichen kleis v'leiv. And God is exploring your heart and your insides, im oivdei karoi, to see whether you are serving Him appropriately. And Alter Rebbe continues, and therefore, since God is standing above me, watching me, with this expectation, therefore I need to serve God, be'emo, be'yira, with awe, with reverence, as if I'm standing before a king. And Alter Rebbe says this is something that you can think about and think about deeply, depending on how much time you have and depending on your capacity for thinking, every time before you do a mitzvah or before you study Torah. Now, some of you might be listening and might be a little creeped out by this. God is standing above me, standing upon me, and He's watching every move that I do to see whether I'm doing it appropriately. That sounds a little harsh, sounds a little controlling. So the Rebbe talks about this in one of his talks, and the Rebbe says something very interesting. He says that the word nitzav, V'hinei Hashem nitzav alav, God is standing upon you. The word nitzav can also mean God is relying upon you. You realize the word rely upon and stand upon are very close to each other. When you rely upon something, you're standing upon it. That's like you require it in order to be able to stand. And the Rebbe actually brings a proof, which is, we're not going to get into that right now, but in the talk, the Rebbe brings a proof that actually is the context. That's what it means over here. So suddenly that changes the entire meaning of what we're talking about over here. Instead, God standing upon you, watching you with a stern face and saying, you better do it, otherwise I'm going to catch you. God is relying upon you. Why is God watching you to see whether you're doing the mitzvahs? Is because God needs you, is because you're important. Because God put you down here in this world for a reason. And the reason is to create a dir b'tachtonim, to create a dwelling place for Him. And in order for that to happen, you need to do the mitzvahs. You need to learn the Torah. You need to do what you're supposed to do. And God is watching you. He's saying, please do it. I need you. I need you. So this is an awe-inspiring thought, but it's also an uplifting thought. The understanding to stop before a mitzvah and think about it. The God, this great king, this tremendous king, the entire world is filled with His glory. And God, He fills all the worlds, encompasses all the worlds. And nevertheless, He's watching me because He relies upon me. He needs me. I'm His partner. And He's waiting and watching and saying, please do what you're supposed to be doing. That is part one of the meditation in order to take us and bring us into a space of Yira. Tomorrow we'll continue further along the lines of meditation that bring us to a place of Yiras Hashem and awe and reverence for God.